Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to be doing something I haven't done in a little while, and that is pay-per-view predictions. That's right, they're back and better than ever. As I predict the winners and maybe some other situations for AEW Double or Nothing. And I'm going to tell you this, I know you're probably tired of it. I'm going to the show. It's going to be my first AEW pay-per-view I'm going to be in attendance for. And I'm hyped. I'm ready to go. So, let's get through the card. As announced yesterday via Tony Khan, for the buy-in, we're going to have two hosts to do it. I'm not going to predict the card yet. That's going to come. So one host, we got Renee Paquette, the usual suspect. Host 2 is none other than Long Island's own Mick Foley. Bang, bang! And honestly, this brings my hype up to another level. I've loved Mick Foley since I was a kid. And I actually met Mick Foley, was that 06 or 07? It's such a long time ago. Outside of wrestling, which that was unexpected. So, seeing Mick Foley here in AEW, it's definitely going to be interesting. I'm not sure if this is going to be a one-off or if Mick's going to be hanging around for a little while. Personally, I'd like to have him on commentary. At least maybe for Collision for a little while. I think that would be fun. I've seen a lot of people fantasy booking matches. Like the dude's like in his 60s and he's had all kinds of surgeries. I don't think he needs to be taking any more bumps. Unless he's really up for it, which, that's his choice. But ultimately, I'd be okay on commentary, maybe being a manager for somebody, like, maybe not Darby, maybe the Death Riders. He could be the higher power they were hinting at years ago. Which, I can't believe I'm saying that. So, I do feel like Mick is going to add some hype to this. So currently for the buy-in, we have one match announced. I'm sure we'll see some added before the week gets out and before Sunday. So it is a 5-minute tag team eliminator match, where if the challengers either win the match or get to the time limit, they will get a future title shot. Now, only thing is, the champions are Megan Bayne and Lena Cross of the Divine Dominion. And they have been... they've been doing this little challenge for a little while now. At least a month. I think since, Fairway to Hell. And while it's been entertaining, I do wish there was more story for these two. Because I think they could tell a very interesting story without squashing people. Anyway, our challengers are Zeta Steele, who, very cool seeing her. She's a bit of a recent addition. And then Viva Vane, who is, I believe that was Vita Von Stor. I'm thinking of someone else. So, this is probably going to be another squash match by Bayne and Cross. Although, I could see them maybe being a minute short of the time limit. Maybe that's going to be their strategy, is to survive rather than going for the win, which could work. But ultimately, I think what's going to happen post-match is what's going to be interesting, because we had the recent return of Anna Jay and more recently Ty Mello, the former Ty Conti. And if you know your AEW history, these two were the first AEW women's tag team. Not the champions. That was more recent. But they were AEW's first women's tag team. So I think they're going to come out post-match, at least try to attack Bane and Cross, and then maybe issue a challenge for either Dynamite or Collision or something. Because I would like to see a story, again, a story for the women's tag division. So now I am just going to go through this prediction as shown with the card as shown on Wikipedia. So right now, our first matchup on the main card, we had the international title on the line as Kazuchika Okada is challenged by Konosuke Takeshita. So we have a little bit of a falling out from the Don Callis family. And, these two have been at each other's throats for a little while now. So to see them in this match is pretty interesting. I think, oh man, this one is kind of tough to call because in my heart, I want Takeshita to win. He's more than earned it. But in my head, something tells me Okada's going to win. And it might not be of the cleanest situations. Like, I could see Callis maybe getting involved. I could see other members of the family interfering. But I think I'm going to go with my heart on this one. I think Takeshita wins it. And maybe we see the international title be elevated a little bit more. As much as I've liked Okada's reign, Brother has not been defending it as much lately, which is a shame. Not to say I need to see him defend it on every show like Darby Allin's been doing. But, I think a switch-up is definitely needed. Then maybe we see Takeshita bring this title over to Japan, or, bring it to a Rev Pro show or something. Next up, a bit of an interesting stipulation. So it is a tag team title match, but it is not the normal pinfall submission to win. It is an I Quit match. Now, originally, I thought this was going to be an I Quit street fight, but here on the descriptor, it just says an I Quit match. And if Cage and Copeland lose, they must break up as a tag team. So some pretty high stakes as we get FTR, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, taking on Christian Cage and Adam Copeland, aka Edge and Christian. I know a lot of people are going to say, Dax and Cash should really retain. There's no reason to have Cage and Cope win this. I think we need an exclamation point at the end of this feud. This thing has been going on what feels like forever. And I feel like the more interesting match result would be Cage and Copeland winning. So they can add that to their resume. And then maybe not have a super long reign. Especially with potentially the New Day and the Motor City Machine Guns coming in. So, could see about that. So, next up, it is the cluster you-know-what, known as Stadium Stampede. Now, basically what this is going to be is it's going to be a no-rules fight. And it can go down anywhere in the arena. And I got my fingers crossed someone is going to go over to Citi Field and have a little segment there. Considering the Mets are on the road right now, so Citi Field's kind of open. Even if they just do something in the parking lot, I'd be okay with that. But here's the teams. Are you ready? Team number 1, we got Chris Jericho. We got Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin of the Hurt Syndicate. Then we got Kenny Omega, Jungle Jack Perry, Matt and Nick Jackson of the Elite. So that's team number 1. Team number 2, we have the full force of the Demand. So that's Ricochet, Bishop Khan, and Toa Liona. 2 members of the Don Callis family. 1 is the current national champion, Mark Davis, which, Jack Perry's in this, so more than likely he was going to be in this. And Andrade El Idolo, which, interesting choice, I like that. And they would be joined by Clark Connors and David Finlay of the Dogs. And, this is going to be interesting because there's definitely going to be absolute chaos during this match. I think Team Jericho is going to get the win. Because, like Ricochet has been saying, Jericho's pretty much got the gimmick of him being beat up by the Demand every week. And I'd like to see him win one. Just for nostalgia's sake. And honestly, Jericho doesn't even need to get the pin. Let's maybe have Jack Perry pin Mark Davis. I think that, or Perry pinning Andrade. Although, let's face it, one or the two of the Dogs is probably going to get pinned. Sorry, guys. So, that's definitely going to be an interesting matchup. Next matchup is a fatal 4-way for the AEW Women's title. So we got Thekla taking on Hikaru Shida, Jamie Hayter, and Chris Statlander. And honestly, I have been enjoying the heck out of Thekla's reign. Has it been perfect? No. But I feel like with the level of competition here, it's going to be interesting. But I do think Thekla is going to retain, probably due to shenanigans from Julia Hart and Sky Blue. Although, actually, we're going to see about that. Well, I'm going to talk about that a little later. But I think Thekla retains. Next match up, we got an opening round match to the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament. Now, what this is every year, AEW has a tournament to honor the late, great Owen Hart. Mostly because, Martha Hart hasn't allowed WWE near it, considering she blames that company for his death. I'm not going to get into that. That's a separate issue I think you guys can look up on your own. But our first opening round matchup for the men, we also have a women's bracket, which is awesome. We got Samoa Joe taking on Will Ospreay. Now, Ospreay has been getting some very special training with the Death Riders. So, that's... he's been doing this because he feels like that would get him to the next level and potentially the world title. As much as I love Samoa Joe, and honestly, I love Samoa Joe, he's one of my favorites, I think Will Ospreay is going to get the win, especially considering when you win the Owen Hart tournament, you get an automatic world title shot at All In. And this year's All In, it's going to take place at Wembley Stadium in the UK. So, I'm thinking this is probably going to be Ospreay's moment. Our other men's first round matchups for the Owen, you got Bandito versus Swerve Strickland. And that's going to be an absolutely brutal matchup. I think Swerve gets the win, but I also think Prince Nana is going to get involved somehow. We shall see about that. But, Swerve is definitely getting the win here. Next up, so, little spoiler alert, originally this was supposed to be Willow Nightingale versus Sky Blue, I believe. But Willow had to pull out because she is suffering a shoulder injury, and she also vacated her TBS title. So, yeah, that match isn't happening. Instead, we have Athena taking on Mina Shirakawa. And, yeah, these two have definitely had some great matches recently, especially on Ring of Honor. I think Athena picks up the win here. She moves on. I could potentially see Athena winning the whole thing. Oh, and Willow's replacement, for now, is a wild card entry, meaning could be absolutely anyone. I think it's Monet. So, we'll see where we go from there. Next up, we got the AEW Continental title on the line as Jon Moxley takes on Kyle O'Reilly. And this match, 0 time limit. So this one could go on for a while. Could be super short. Kyle O'Reilly has had Jon Moxley's number, so this is why he has this matchup. Minor spoiler alert, he and Moxley had an eliminator match on Dynamite this week, in which went to a time limit draw. So that got Kyle O'Reilly the match here. I gotta think Moxley is gonna hang on to this title. Like I said, Kyle O'Reilly has had Moxley's number, so I feel like this is gonna be Moxley's revenge game. Although I am not 100% sure who Mox would drop it to post this match. So, gonna be something to keep an eye on. And then our grand finale for the AEW World title, and MJF putting his hair on the line. That's right. We are getting that stipulation. So, competitors, we got Darby Allin taking on MJF. Now, originally, when I saw Darby Allin win the way he did, had a feeling this was going to be the matchup for all Double or Nothing, considering MJF is a New Yorker, although he's a Long Islander, so definitely going to be interesting seeing him in his home state. Although not his home borough, so that's going to be interesting. Originally, I thought, yeah, this is where MJF gets his title back. He goes on a nice run, and then potentially drops it to Ospreay. However, with recent goings-on with Ospreay, at least kind of being associated with the Death Riders, especially after he and a bunch of other people have been fighting them, I feel like maybe Darby Allin would be the more interesting champion going into this. And I feel like would be a more interesting story. That being said, I do think MJF is going to get his title back. And then we're going to get MJF versus Ospreay at All In, which, yes please. Although I wouldn't be mad if Darby Allin retained and we saw Darby taking on Ospreay at All In, which, honestly, I'd be excited for either one. So, yeah, those are my predictions. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down below what your predictions are for this card, because it is definitely crazy. And if you see me at Double or Nothing, don't be afraid to come say hello, and maybe we can go get some beers. No, not really, but we'll see. So, yeah, let me know your predictions down below. And then also, coming up on Friday, almost missed the 3-hour show we got for Dynamite this week due to a very severe thunderstorm that knocked out my power for a couple of minutes. But eventually I did get back, and I don't think I missed anything. So I'll be covering that 3-hour show tomorrow. Tonight, I am actually going to see Mandalorian and Grogu. I may do a video on that with my family. Maybe sometime in the near future. So stay tuned for that. And then, definitely going to be an interesting time. Probably not going to be watching / covering TNA tonight. So, sorry about that. And then that just leaves Double or Nothing, which I'll probably cover on Monday. After that, we'll go back to regularly scheduled programming. And I hope you come around for that. Till next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.